UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
To all who listen to this happy podcast, this is Mickey's Marvels on the United Federation of Podcasts.
You can contact the network at contact@ufp.earth, on Twitter @UFPEarth, and on Facebook.
I'm your host, Magic. Join with me, as always, with my good friend, Tribz. Tribz, how are you?
I'm good, Patrick. How are you?
I can't complain. We get to talk Disney, so can't complain about that.
Can't complain about that at all.
Get your news here. Hear all about it.
So here's what's going on in the news this week. I got some articles off of the socials here. This article is titled, "The Answer Is: Disney and Sony Speak to the Masses in Regards to the Future of the Wall Crawler in the MCU." In an article posted this week on chipandco.com, it seems both Kevin Feige and Tom Holland remain positive that we will be seeing a lot more of our webhead to include Venom sequels. Sony did state that a drop in stocks at the announcement of the split was concerning, as there were questions to the future of its production company. However, they too remain positive in Spidey's future.
Yeah, so this is good news, right? Anytime they're talking, it means there's still hope that we'll get these movies later on.
And that's true. And we talked about this, I believe, in one of our other podcasts, that we were concerned where Spidey was going to be. And when Venom came out, everybody wanted that Spider-Man cameo. But because of the Marvel, MCU, and Sony debate, they weren't sure if they were going to put him in. And this is for sure talks that we will see Spidey in Venom sequels.
Yes, yeah. And it's also to show you that there's a lot more than meets the eye that was reported last time on why the talks broke down to begin with.
Yes, and that's also to be concerned as well. You know, when it comes to something like this and people start panicking, the stocks drop, so on and so forth. So is the business world.
Yep. Anything else in the news today?
Sure. We've got a couple, 3 more articles that we found out. This one's titled, "It's a Wrap. Disney buses get a movie makeover." In an article posted on DisneyFoodBlog.com, it seems that you'll not only ride the bus with family and friends, but some familiar Disney characters. Some noticed in the blog were the likes of Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, the stars of The Lion King, and even Groot and Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. And to be honest with you, nowadays, car wraps, shuttle wraps, it's mobile advertising. And it's the new billboard that goes around.
I'm surprised it took this long, because when you come from the airport, if you take Disney's Magical Express, those buses are all wrapped. They're all owned by the same company. The buses are actually Mears buses that are contracted through Disney. And so they're all Mears buses, both the ones from the resorts to the parks or from the airports to the resorts and back. So the fact that they waited this long, when Disney Cruise Line and Disney Parks from the airport, the Magical Express, was using it, it's a no-brainer.
Right. And it's only to enhance the visit along with the advertising as well.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's to wrap you in that Disney bubble at all times.
Mobily, at all times and anywhere you go. So good on them for doing this.
Yeah, and to be honest, look, I'm a giant kid, so when I get there, I want to be in a bus with Mickey and Donald and Goofy and wrapped on the bus. I get giddy just like every little kid does.
Who doesn't? That's the thing. Disneyland, Disney World, they market around happiness, and they market around being a kid again.
Absolutely. So what's next on the docket?
Next on the docket is going to be social networking to better the experience. In this day and age, networking is not just for the workforce. In an article posted on Disney Parks Mom Panel, they have upgraded from a simple talking forum to something that they are asking for those interested in sharing their ideas and experiences within the parks, but also vacation planning. Find out all you need to know by first logging into your My Disney Experience account. This is big. You know, again, we talk Facebook, we talk Twitter, any other of the socials that are out there. And this is a panel that anybody who's got the experience can join in. It's a video or a written convention that you can ask simple questions. And this is, again, another step into the millennium.
Yes, and
which is
Disney
what they're
Moms
doing.
panel has been around for a while, and you have to go away for a conference to learn how to be a Disney mom and everything if you're accepted or whatever. But this is even bigger than that because now anyone can watch in on this, right? Am I getting that correct?
You're absolutely correct. They started this back in 2008, where, again, it was just a simple forum of back and forth questions. So now it becomes an evolved, an evolution.
Yeah, which it's just
It becomes an evolution of that.
Disney's great at moving forward.
And that's what it is. It's keeping up with the Joneses, where the Joneses are the Jetsons.
Yeah, right.
So.
And anything tied to Disney, like even now, look, 20 years ago, people talked in their neighborhood about Disney movies. Now we're on podcasts. Everything about Disney has to move forward to keep up with everything else.
And it's funny because in the movie segment that we talk about, it's all about nostalgia and what the simplest things were in life. And back in the olden days, word of mouth was your easiest advertisement.
Absolutely.
So this has become a more step up to the technological age. So,
Yep. And our last.
on the next one, and the last one, it's that time of year. In an article posted at chipandco.com, several of the parks within Walt Disney World will be closing for seasonal maintenance and upgrades. For a complete list of parks and timeframes, please visit chipandco.com and search for the article posted September 4th, 2019. There were so many parks that are upgraded, that they're moving certain stands from one end to the other. It would be an hour podcast just talking about it, so it would be much easier.
And there are podcasts that's what they do. They're going to talk all these different moves. That's not us. We're just telling you where to get the information.
And then that's it. I mean, I started writing and I got writer's cramp right about item number 3. So, but if you do want the complete list, please go ahead and go to chipandco.com and search for the article posted September 4th.
Awesome. And that's what's in the news today.
Get your popcorn, get your drink. The movie's about to start.
So today, we got a really good one to talk about. We held a poll on our Facebook page, and we unfortunately we wanted to talk Marvel, and it was winning there for a little while, but we lost out, and we ended up with Pixar. So that's not the worst thing in the world. And actually, Chris, it was you who decided which Pixar movie to pick, and you picked.
I did. I picked WALL-E.
Awesome. I love WALL-E.
I did.
So, a few quick facts about WALL-E. The release date was June 27th, 2008. The writers were Andrew Stanton and Pete Docter. Pete Docter will come up a lot when we talk about Pixar. He's a legend in Pixar. And they don't even say Pete Docter anymore. They just say, we talk to Doctor. Screenplay was also Andrew Stanton and Jim Reardon. The director was Andrew Stanton, so he was really busy. Again, the picture house was Pixar. And then we have some fun facts. WALL-E and R2-D2 are voiced by the same legend, Ben Burt. Alien is referenced because Ben Burt voiced Mother, while the computer in WALL-E is voiced by Sigourney Weaver, who's most famous for Alien to most listeners, probably, right?
Yeah.
They operated with a no elbows rule. So they didn't want to give WALL-E elbows, so they gave him these telescoping arms because they thought that would be much more realistic, and they tried to make him look as much like an inkjet printer. That's how they designed him. Thomas Newman, who composed the score for WALL-E, is the nephew of Lionel Newman, who co-scored Hello Dolly, which plays often in the movie. I mean, the opening music is from Hello Dolly. All the scenes are from Hello Dolly that are shown on the screen from the old movies. Hello Dolly plays big in this movie, and it's because Thomas Newman composed the music, and he's related to someone who composed Hello Dolly. Though not named in the film itself, WALL-E's cockroach friend was given a name, Hal, by the Pixar team. A reference to both 1920s producer Hal Roach, which was Safety Last, The Little Rascals, and homicidal-minded computer in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, which was named Hal. It's a Pixar movie, so obviously we get a ton of Easter eggs, right? We get the pig, we get Rex, the dinosaur from Toy Story. We get Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc. He can be seen in the truck near the beginning of the film. Skinner's scooter from Ratatouille and the Pizza Planet truck. Pizza Planet truck shows big on Pixar movies. There's a reference to A113. It's a classroom at Cal Arts where the Pixar animators studied. A113 or 113 comes up a lot, and that's because that was a classroom that a lot of these Pixar animators originally came from, so they keep shoving it into their movies. And the most obvious placement of the Pixar Easter eggs was when Wall-E creates a statue of Eve. He actually uses the lamp from every Pixar movie in the beginning that squashes the eye. So those are just some of. Wow. I'm sure there's more. I didn't list them all, but I'm sure those are the main Easter eggs you can find in this movie, and every Pixar movie has tons of Easter eggs at this point.
You know, you talk about Hal Roach. The red eye that we see in the movie is also reminiscent of Space Odyssey 2001.
Yes, it is. That's used quite a bit here and there. So it's great because you reference this in the news, and one of the great things is this is a movie of nostalgia, right? A lot of these things are like the first time I saw it or you saw it or someone our age is like, oh, a tape player, oh, a record player, oh, a Rubik's Cube. And
a Zippo led,
so a lot of those things were like, wow, that's so cool. Yet it was made the most futuristic way possible. They actually brought in a cameraman supervisor, I forget his name, but to consult on the movie so that the angles at which the movie was produced appeared to be shot instead of drawn or animated.
Oh, wow.
They wanted it to look as realistic as possible. And they used, computer programming to get this movie done, which is completely not nostalgia, even though everything in the movie is nostalgic.
And that's so true. And, you talked about nostalgia being one of the themes, and doing some research on this movie, there's two other themes involved in this. There is the consumerism theme, and there is the conservation theme. Now,
which is massively ironic that Disney Pixar is putting out an anti-corporation movie, but that's really what this amounts to, isn't it?
Looking at this movie, you can tell that in the future, everything is done for you. Now, everything is done for us now. We're in search of the bigger and better things to help us not do the simplest things we want to do, whether it be a cell phone, whether it be even the smallest of items. But even in the future that's depicted in Wall-E, all that's needed to be done is sitting in a chair.
You don't even look past your monitor.
You don't. And that consumerism theme is constant throughout the movie. And it's so true.
That and laziness.
And we're face down in the phones. We're face down in our tablets. We're face down in any electronic devices. We're face sideways on a computer as we stand right now. It's so true to life that this movie 10 years ago still stands the test of time today, which is part of Disney.
More accurate today than it was when it released in 2008.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and it's one of Disney's staples to stand the test of time with each topic. We talk about conservation. Recycling was a big thing in 2008, which it still is now, but the big message for recycling was the fact that the Earth was like 1/4. Everybody was recycling 1/4%. It was like 1/4 of the Earth was recycling.
Right.
So the wasteland of Earth is what came to be, what would be 100-something years from now, 110 years from now, at the time the movie was made.
Which is when they leave. Yeah. Because it's 700 years after that the movie takes place, but they've been gone for 700 years.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes it even worse.
Okay, so I'm glad you bring that up because the name of the ship they eventually end up on, where all the people are, is called the Axiom. Mm-hmm. And the word axiom actually means something that is taken for granted. Meaning not just the Earth, but also the people taking for granted with their lavish lifestyles, their overindulgent lifestyles, really. Lavish isn't the right word, but their overindulgent lifestyles. And these people have gotten so lazy, they don't even chew food anymore.
No.
They drink their breakfast, their lunch, their dinner, because they don't even chew. So that's jumping a little ahead. Let's start where we start. We open up the movie to see Wall-E doing his job, and he's clearly the only Wall-E unit left. Now, for those who don't know, I don't know, I don't think you're listening, but if you don't know, Wall-E stands for Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class. Okay? So obviously they make these different waste allocator load lifters. This one happens to be on Earth, so it's an Earth class.